right, Joe. Everybody look up, watch out. It's Keep Up. And yes, there are 3 talking heads this week. Thank you, thank you. We just started going live a couple weeks ago. It was my birthday, so we were trying to get our party on. Robert was doing his play, rehearsing, working really hard. We're going to talk about that soon. Keith has been busy booking with us. He's our first guest of season 5. That used to be a regular thing. We're so happy to bring that back. We're so happy for you to start that tradition back up again with us. Again, the viewership will be up. We're more focused on making really good content for you. We just started the promotion, just trying to beef it up a bit. We're busy people, so bear with us. But first, let's get a weekly thing that we've been doing. We'll ask Robert first. Robert, how are you doing mental health? It was Mental Health Awareness Month last month, wasn't it? I believe so. Going. How you doing, Robert? Been working hard.
I am doing well. I stay consistent with my audio books from my lady Mary Ann Williamson, and she keeps me grounded and remembering, if it's not love, it isn't real. So don't focus on bullshit. Essentially, stay focused on the positive stuff, because that's what life's really all about. And then the negative stuff, learn from it. But she says, look at the crucifixion, but do not dwell upon it. So don't dwell on shit. Move on. So I'm doing great.
And
so
that's the same one. That's the same woman that went for president a few years ago, right?
Yes, for this year, yeah.
Yes, I remember her on the DNC. No, she was cool. You're like the first person in person, well, via Zoom, that I know that is a big fan of her. But no, I know that she has a big following. And that's great. That's great. I've been reading 48 Laws of Power. I'm not usually into self-help or like self-affirmation, but I don't like to be too stubborn, so I like to let things in that I don't usually let in. And it's been good. It's been good. I've noticed that a lot of people copied off that shit. Now that I'm reading it, now I'm like this. Too many motherfuckers read this book. Like, even I don't need to mention the Drake and Kendrick beat, but I was like, this motherfucker definitely, because there was like a chapter of like giving like fake information. I was like,
everything's sick. It always comes back around.
It's true. And now we're coming back to you, Keith. Keith, how you doing, man? Mental health check, man. If you don't mind sharing with us.
No, of course. Yeah, actually, I am really good. I think I've recently did some travel, and I got to spend a lot of time with my family and some close friends that are basically family. And I've just been really appreciative to be really lucky to have like awesome people in my life. I know that that's not the case for everybody. So I am being gratitude is kind of like my thing that I'm in right now. I try and be appreciative of all the things that I have around me. So I am doing good.
Yeah. Did you hear that, America? Be grateful for the 3 of us. That's what that was. Translation.
Literally, I'm happy. I'm grateful to be here. You're lucky to be here when I'm here.
Very true. And
don't forget to thank yourself, like Niecy Nash.
I'd like to thank Snoop Dogg, and I'd like to thank me. And another thing, I'd like to thank me.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite speeches.
Okay.
We're getting
to quote Nicki Minaj, no, I ain't lucky, I'm blessed. Okay.
Yeah.
Know that. Yes. Know that.
Barb's in the house.
That's right. Right. No, Robert is a big fan of what he's a fan of. And you will get to know that. He is a very loyal human being. I love that about him. So this month is a bunch of stuff. So we're gonna put that on the ticker. So we have for anybody there's new viewers out there, and again, we're trying to make good content right now. One day we'll have the views back, we'll have all that good stuff. The listeners, it's gradually going up. Consistency is important. Oh, we got some comments. Oh, Mark has been a guest of the show. I've been to the Philippines with him. We went to college together. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mark.
Man. Yes.
The vest.
Go, Mark.
Hey.
Are you single-handedly bringing the vest back?
I just might.
Maybe.
I just might.
And that wasn't backhanded. Happy summer. Mark, look at you, Mark. Look at you. Mark is a flirt. He's got to stop. I'm joking. I love Mark. Mark, big shout out to you, man. You're one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. So we have several segments. What the fuck is happening is like the most trending things going on. So Pride Month is the biggest trending thing. So we're gonna get that from our guests and our co-host. And I will be an ally on the side and ask questions and learn. And so then we have our music section, which is what the fuck did I hear? We're gonna bring up music topics. From now on, we're like if there's something really like that we really need to get off our chest as far as like an album or a song that we listen to, we will let you know. Otherwise, to save time, we're gonna put that in the ticker at the bottom. Then we have movies, the same thing goes. If there's something really relevant out there, we're gonna talk about it, something we like. Then the next one is where the fuck did I go? And that is when we go somewhere and we have a good time, whether it's the theater, whether it is a concert, which a lot of us really love over here, music festivals, food festivals, doesn't matter. Somewhere dope, especially after COVID, we want to know where you've been. And then last but not least, we get to know our guests. That is what the fuck did I say? And a lot of our guests, especially being on the East Coast in New York, it's expensive. So we have double lives, kind of. We have our passion projects, we have our day jobs, and we want to get to know Keith in that way. So first topic, the national. There's a lot of nationals out there. I know there's even a national blowjob and steak day. I know that like supposed to be, what is that supposed to be a counter of? I forgot what it was. It was a counter of something. Like men felt like they were not getting enough love, and they were like, I need a BJ and steak day. And
okay.
Yeah. So my point is, and there's a gun awareness.
Those arrests need to happen. Those
right?
Needs to happen.
Right. So we have a bunch of them. We have Alzheimer's, but let's get into the most prevalent one right now, Pride Month. We'll start off with Robert. Robert, what do you do for Pride Month? What does it mean to you? Is there any history tidbits you want to give us?
Well, for me, I feel like Pride just comes down to like at the heart of it, it comes down to really being able to freely have that privilege that we have, at least here in the States, in some states, to walk outside freely with the person we love, hand in hand, whether that be a friend, whether it be whoever, and just like expressing yourself fully. So if your friend's a big, tall drag queen, then getting to say, I could walk outside with them, and this is America. This is the world we live in. I'm not hurting anyone, so let me just do what the fuck I want to do. And that's what Pride is about. And I think that's why we have so many allies of, people who they can fuck with that, because a lot of people are marginalized and, they want to celebrate too. They're like, fuck it. This is a day where we could just all kind of let loose and just have fun and just be proud to be who you are. I don't think people take enough time to, like Keith was saying, to sit in your gratitude and just be grateful for what you got going on. So yeah, Pride to me is just, I think most people, like, they try to make it into this whole thing of like, oh, like I have some religious friends. I have religious gay friends. They're like, Pride is not really a good thing. You're not supposed to have pride. That's like a sin. That's a cardinal sin, whatever. But it's not really like, I think if you look at what it's really supposed to be, it's just supposed to be like us saying, we're here, and we're not doing anything wrong being ourselves. We just want to live our lives and be accepted and live out loud the same way everybody else gets to, and same way you get to be on TV and have your kiss your babe and all that. We want to go out and be able to hug and kiss and do what the fuck we want to, So yeah, and then real quick, just in 1969, a series of riots over police action against the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in New York City's Greenwich Village, changed the landscape of the homosexual society literally overnight. Since then, the event itself has become the stuff of legend with relatively little hard information available on the riots themselves. But, like this book, Stonewall, it talks all about the riots that kind of started gay pride. And it just, from what I understand, there was a big fucking riot that was going on because gay clubs were always getting barged in on by the damn police, and gay people were going down the street and having to say, hey, are you a friend of Dorothy's, or doing like shit like leaving a cigarette on the windowsill, and if the other person picked it up, then that's how you picked up your babe, for the night. So people were living in like fucking crazy ass world, like in the fucking closet. So Pride is about saying like, we don't have to hide anymore. Like, I'm a normal fucking person. I'm not doing anything other than what the hell you would do with your fucking time off. Other than maybe wear a vest. Maybe Vince wouldn't wear this vest. But hey, love me anyway.
Yo, don't disrespect me like that. I definitely will wear that vest. Just not
Where
always.
your pride is your vest.
That's right. I
True,
haven't
true.
worn this vest in years, and I was like, I'm so fucking hot. I need something that I could breathe in.
Ricky
Oh,
Lake
I
wants
was
you
just.
back.
So,
He's
yeah.
like, they want you to zoom out a little bit. They want a full.
Everybody loves read the book. Go watch the movie. Oh damn! Everybody always says that. I worked at a job one time, and I read a lot of books. I was like, oh yeah, I read the book to that, and like there was like a running joke at my job. They were like, Vince, did you read the book to that movie too? And I'm like, oh, never again. Keith, let's get your take, please.
I think for me, for Pride, I think the last couple of years it's kind of changed. I think before I didn't really partake in it as much. Before I moved to New York, I had never really been to Pride anywhere. I grew up in South Carolina, so we didn't have, we had like one gay bar. It was called the Castle. It was behind this big fence, and you had to kind of like you had to like sneak into it. You'd have to park down the street and like wait till there were no cars coming, and then like zoom up there so that nobody would see you. And it was like on a busy street. So yeah, and I just kind of grew up with this kind of like, this tampered down version of it, like, like, oh, just don't put it in people's faces, like they won't say anything. But it's just like, I'm gonna do whatever I want to, as long as I'm not encroaching on somebody's personal space or harming someone else. I should be able to go down the street. I could wear a tank top with my nipples out if I want to. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like
we've seen you on Instagram. You definitely do. There's proof of that out there. Don't you worry. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry to interrupt.
No, but it's true, so it's just like, I think for me, it kind of evolved to a bigger thing. Like for me now, like I do see it more kind of like, it is important to like educate people, as my good sis here did. She pulled out the book. She read history that I think a lot of people have a passing idea about, but they don't really know like the details of these stories. And like, even to elaborate a little bit of what he was talking about, like actually the mafia owned all of the gay bars. That was the only reason that they were able to not be constantly ransacked by the police, because the mafia owned the police. The police wouldn't come in there. So so there's
on the Deuce. I did kind of know that, but I saw that on the Deuce though. I didn't see that anywhere else on HBO.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, most of the gay bars that were around then are closed, except I think for like Julius and Stonewall. They're probably the only two that are still around that have that type of history. And I just think it's just important for people to know. I think now, I'm 37 years old now, and I have an appreciation for like what I've experienced, and then I also have an even more appreciation for what the experience that people have had before me. Like I went to the Madonna tour, and seeing the pictures of all of the people, that were lost during the AIDS crisis, and just like consuming content around it, and like just being like not being able to fathom like what it was like to be around in those times and how scary it can be. And it's just like, when you're going through it, you're just like, you don't realize that you're living in history. And I think for us now, we've realized a couple of times over, at least in our lives, we have lived through history, and as it's happening, you don't realize the importance of what's going on. And I think that it's good to know, that kind of stuff, just to take it forward, because it all impacts us in the future. So that's why I think about Pride. And I love, to be a little extra gay. Why not?
Good. Oh man, that's one of the best parts about you.
Yes, honey. Girl, mama, clip.
One of my favorite things of you is the Mermaid Festival. You always put on.
Oh yes, the Mermaid Parade.
Yes.
Yes.
And Robert's from Brooklyn, so.
Yeah, my mom loves the Mermaid Parade.
Yeah.
Well, tell her I'll be out there. She should keep an eye. I'll be on the 20.
She's in the chat. She's in the chat. She's listening.
Hey, mama, look out for the
I'll put up her quote, her comment. Thanks, Louis. And I will get to the show too. I saw you at the show. Hell yeah. Real quick, and I think I mentioned this to Keith about the Mermaid. Festival parade, in Coney Island. This person I work with, she was in one of your photos.
Oh wow.
And I know, I was like, Keith, I think it's one of my friends. And I hit up my friend Gina. Shout out to Gina. She has a documentary out right now. She's been at the top of Mount Everest. She is the shit. And I like pointed out she had like a blue wig. It's in one of your photos. You have like one. She has a blue wig in the back. She brought her kids, and she goes, "That is me." And I was like, he was all over the place. Everybody was snapping pictures of that motherfucker. Everybody. So
I wanted to be seven degrees of Keith instead of 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I wanted to be 7 degrees of Keith.
Right.
There was
That's
quite a
what it
few more degrees than 7 that day. It was quite a few. I have to go. I haven't been there. I love Coney Island. I've been to other parades and stuff like that. That sounds like you make it look really fun. So definitely
You should come. Everybody come.
Mama Lou's. It's her favorite. Robert knows. Robert knows.
I'll make
So
sure if I see her, I'll call her out.
if you guys don't mind, I'm just an ally of the community. I don't know why I have to say that. Like, I just don't want to take any shine from anybody. That's all. But the only thing I have a problem with is the tokenization of it. And the gay community and the queer community, that's not the only one that is victimized by this. I love this. I love this. I love the history that you guys are showing. I love like the fact that we'll never forget. I love just your take, like just being normal, like not just being normal, but like when places like Target and they put like a pride logo, and that's all they do. That's all they do. Like they just keep they keep it up for a month. Companies that I've worked at have tokenized it before. That's the only problem I have with it. As far as like what you guys have, the touching stories and the people that I've been around, I wish that was more of that. And I wish there was like more audiobooks out there. I wish like on TikTok they were showing more of this type of stuff. Stone, that's the only one they talk about for years. Like there's so many incidents and there's so many reflective moments of like great history too, not just like traumatization. So
I will
the more
say,
we learn, the more you know. Sorry, Robert.
touching on the tokenism, I was just talking about that subject with, our boy Steven, Jimmy Moonshine, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm already seeing the flags go up at the stores." I was like, I will take that privilege of having that compared to the experiences that some of our
True.
sisters are in the
Yeah.
States are going through and just like across the world. So I'm like, if the worst we have to complain about in our privileged life is, they're trying to really get my money, like I'll take that over like potential like violence outright or like having to go back into the closet,
What I will say that I do think that there is, and I think I'm just always this kind of person. I do think that there's a space for kind of the like the corporateness of the pride thing because like that kid that like because I grew up in like a small town, I think there is a place for like some sort of visibility. Like even if it's like going into Walmart and seeing like a pride section, like you would never go over there and buy anything because you're too afraid anybody would actually see you, and it's absolutely ugly, and I would probably get a skin rash if I touched it. But it's like it's a
clearance rack anyway. No clearance racks anyway.
Right. So it's like there is a place for it. I'm not trying to say we should praise them like and give them accolade. I work for a pretty large corporate company. I'm on like our employee resource group, and like my intention is to like educate internally, like but use the like to leverage the business. So I do think that there's like a small space for that. I would never say pat them on the back. That's just like being like, oh, I have a black coworker. It's like,
True.
thank you for being normal.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like that's my only kind of caveat about it. But I would never like argue on behalf of a corporate company, like never in my life. Like that's just not what's gonna happen with me, she, her. I would never. So, but I do think that there's little Johnny Appleseed down in South Carolina. He can look at it and not just the underwears in the underwear section.
Well, I'm glad you guys clarified that for me. Yeah, no, that's how I feel about that. But you're right. It's just like the ones that just do that and don't go any further. And I agree with you. It's much better than like how it was before. I don't want to always like rest on that laurel, but like sometimes we don't have a choice. Mark, if you guys don't mind me telling the story real quick. We went to the Philippines and I had Tinder at the time. I got rid of my dating apps recently. It was like just too much of a distraction. And I'm just comfortable being a spinster at this point. And so I was on the island with him, and I matched with a bunch of people, and I was like, wow, I never got this much love in my life. And so I took a second look at a bunch of them, and I was like, oh wow,
That's suspicious.
so I
That's
did a lot of
weird.
unmatching because not my vibe. But Mark was like, wow, Vince, you are like, I'm like, what happened? He's like, so you didn't know that there was a lot of trans in the Philippines? I was like, no, I didn't. And he goes, we're number one, actually. I'm like, I thought that was Thailand. He's like, no, Philippines. It's like that's like a misnomer. Like we have, and in the Philippines, it's actually, even though they're like really tough on crime, like they give like a death sentence to like anybody that brings in any type of drug, pretty much, even weed. They are very relaxed with like the homosexual community, and it was cool. So he's laughing. He makes this joke because a lot of trans men were hitting on me on the island, like very openly, because they were the majority. And there was a couple of times they would like grab me or like in front of my friends, in front of Mark. Mark can attest to this. And I wanted no part of that, like not that part. Like I'm not like trying to like be
Trans men or
aggressive.
trans women?
Trans.
I,
It was trans women. It was trans women. Sorry, trans women. And they would look. One time, I look back because, like, somebody touches you. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. I look back. One of them had a machete, and one of them like looked, and they had like a group of people with them, like a whole, like all their friends. And I'm like,
you might have would have had to take that
yeah,
one.
man, it was no joke.
I would have been
No
like,
joke.
Vince, you better go over there and do what you need to do.
I know. Take one for the team. Take one. With machete. I don't want to lose my life. So I learned a lot from this conversation. I learned a lot from being in the Philippines. And no, I just wanted to progress. I wanted to progress. Just like anything we're about, like any part of diversity that we're all about here, I wanted to just we're just living lives. Like we don't have to always like backtrack and see something of trauma and like just be ourselves. Not trying to have the last word on that. Hey, you guys have anything on that before we move on to our music?
Be who you are for
you-
your pride.
I was gonna go. We got pride. We own the night.
Yes. Great. Cool.
Uh,
Move on. Let's so we got What the Fuck Did I Hear? And Robert is gonna start us off with some music news.
Well, right up here we have Eminem Houdini. It looks like
Deborah.
yeah, some of the predictions are in, and it looks like it's expected to land on the Billboard Hot 100 in the top 5. And this guy, Eminem, he's been around since we were kids, and it's interesting to see how long his career has lasted. The thing that intrigued me about this song is more so the conversation has been going on with him around his comment on Meg the Stallion that he makes in the song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, if I wanted to get her in a song, would I have a shot at her at her feet or whatever? And it's just like,
yeah, it's a
I
play
just
on
feel
her
like
getting shot.
right. And for me, I just feel like I thought Nicki was wrong when she commented on, any intimate partner violence. I feel like it's just petty to mention
Great.
in a song.
Well, of course, what's his name? Tory
Tory?
Lanez. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's really petty to make fun
It
of
is.
stuff like that. So I thought that was in really bad taste. But it's heating up the charts. It looks like it's going far in the UK. It's going far in the US. People love the crap out of Eminem, but just to finish
They
that,
do.
Me
some
too,
people,
but the song is trash. But keep going.
someone commented that they felt like it was people's fault back in the day who were like co-signing him that made him so comfortable now to feel like that he can do that and comment on Meg, even though he's like a white boy doing this. So I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
You go first,
I
Keith.
mean, I was gonna say, to be fair, he's not the only one that said anything. There's like multiple. Drake said something. There's multiple artists and of varying levels of blackness, I guess we'll say, because I know that whole Drake conversation is separate. But
Don't hurt our feelings, Keith. Don't hurt our feelings.
no, I'm a proponent for it's like you black, like I don't know, like
He's from the South. He does the 1%. He does the 1 drop rule.
I don't know. Like, who am I to ask you to prove yourself to me? Like, I don't like when people be.
I took a test before we. Keith wouldn't get on the show until I took the black test. He was like,
right. I asked for his 23andMe. I needed
23andMe.
But to get to like Eminem, like he's consistently on like the top 10 MCs like of ever history. Like I've never been a fan of Eminem. Like I've never really listened to his music like that much. I'm to be fair, like also I'm not like I've never been a huge rap listener anyway. But even from his kind of when he first came out, it just never was anything that I was listening to. So his career has never been on my radar, but it does surprise me that he still brings in numbers like that he brings in. But I think that kind of goes to show like in this age of streaming and like you really don't have to be like, I feel like back in the day when you used to listen to the radio, there would be certain artists that you would know, everybody would know was kind of at a certain level. But I think especially now, like it's really hard to like to know like everybody that's on the top of their game in their respective genres and stuff. Cause it's like, you could be, your whole Spotify can be wholly kind of like curated just for you. So it's just like, when I see stuff like this, I'm just like, I guess somebody's listening to him. It's not me. I'm just, I feel like he's just like a fast rapper. I think that's what his thing is. Like he's just fast at it. And the novelty started because he's white. Like if he was black, would he be at the level he's at?
He's touched on that, yeah. And I think the one where he broke the record for Twista, what was that rap?
Like
words per minute.
Ago?
Yeah, it was like, and it was like towards Rap God. Rap too. I think that was.
He went in on everybody, right?
Yeah, that was good.
I've never seen 6 Mile either. I've never watched 6 Mile.
Oh, 8 Mile. Yeah, that was good.
Or 8 Mile. 8 Mile.
What? Throw some respect on this white trailer trash. Come on, man. Like.
I don't know her. Sorry to this man.
Come on, man. And his daughter just got married. Come on, save this guy. No, I'm joking. So I don't want to interrupt. But was that?
Oh no, yeah, I'm done with Eminem. I'm finished with.
So I'm a big fan of Eminem. I am not. I'm like I've tapered off a little bit over the years because it's not that good anymore. It's okay. It's not like amazing. There's some parts, but also rap. Like we're in a new era right now where like rappers are old. Like that never was the case. Like we were young and like they were all young. So like Eminem, Nas, Jay-Z, like all these people, Missy Elliott, they're all old. Like and it's very hard even for all music is a young person's game. So the fact that like when he came out like after his rehab, after he stopped doing drugs, and he had like his best commercial hits from those albums with Rihanna, Monster, the Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers 2. Which was okay. Recovery was good. So I think he's had like a good second half. I do think he's one of he's on the Rushmore of like rappers. And he's even touched it on himself with even in like his music talks about molestation. That's not what I mean. But he's touched on the topic himself of like being like a rap Elvis. And like he knows that has carried a lot of weight. He knows his position on that. And he is also very conscious for somebody like that. I know that like back in the day, he made a lot of derogatory bigotry moments in the queer community. Ken Kniff. He's actually this new album. He's actually killing the character again, Slim Shady. I think it's called like Death of Slim Shady. Mark made a good point. He just put in the comments. His first 3 albums are classics. They're like the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP. But again, the last like 5 years, he's come at like Benzino again. He went back to that same formula, like Guess Who's Back again. This Houdini, he does like the silly song. He doesn't always do that. He hasn't done that like the last few albums, but this one he went back to that formula. I don't know if anybody noticed. It's Steve Miller Band. Abracadabra is the sample, but it's super duper trash. And I agree with both of you. But also I'm a big Megan fan. I love Megan Thee Stallion, and I also, not to objectify, I think she has the most perfect booty I've ever seen in my life. It is like
2 things can be true at the same time.
It's true. It could be in the Louvre. Like it is just perfectly. I've never seen that. I've never seen. But I think it's real corny. I love Tory Lanez, his music, but I think it's really corny what he did in that whole situation. I think people deserve to go to jail if they shoot anyone, regardless of a woman. I think it's really corny. Drake, like they used to beef all the time, Tory Lanez, and all of a sudden, like now, when it's like this like woman victim, now it's like cool to make fun of Cardi B. Is not Cardi B, Nicki, like you said, has done it before. Real cheesy, real cheesy. Like rap is already filled with machismo. It's already not really welcome to women and gays already, and to just like pile on top of that, I just think is real.
Honestly, and it's not
I expect
creative.
better from Eminem because Eminem is usually an ally.
Yeah. It's not creative. It's like it's like an easy cheap shot. Like, you know, like it's like one of those things. It's like if you want to call somebody fat because they're fat, it's like
Yeah,
people
cheap
see
shot,
it.
cheap
Like okay, now what? What?
Yeah,
It was you know, I watched the video before I added the subject to the topic. The topic of the subject, as my
Dr.
little
Dre
women of
said.
Atlanta would say. But you know, I watched the video and I noticed that he makes a comment on like trans. He says something like really quick, like "oh trans," and then like Siamese or something like that. And then he shows a picture of himself dressed up as like Britney Spears. So it's like like you said, he's aware and like kind of conscious of the fact that he's like dressed up as women. So it's kind of like he's been called gay. So he's like, well, fuck you too. So it's interesting that he's an interesting artist to challenge the status quo because there's no one interesting now, right? Everybody's talking about the same shit. Like everybody's so boring. So I feel like he's relevant in every time. Like I'm a fan of his. I've always listened to his music going back a day. He was like very palpable rap, you know, just so fun. It was almost pop, you know. It was fun. He was talking about Christina. I'm gay. I love Britney and Christina. So I want to hear you argue over who you gave head to first. All that. I was like, I ate that drama up.
Switch me chairs.
Right. Exactly. You know. So I feel like he's still relevant today because no one else really dares to do what he's doing. Nobody else has the balls to like come out and comment on anything. You know, they don't
I agree.
like. People are scared. Yeah. So I feel like, and the video looked good. It was like, you know, I think it's always interesting that he plays with his characters. Like he knows that he's himself who he is as a grown man now, but he knows what they want to see. So he dresses up in the blonde hair persona, and then he does the Robin thing for nostalgia because everything's about the reboot. So I feel like his relevancy in today's market, it makes sense.
I agree with you, but who's the one who brought up that like he's gotten to such a point that like he doesn't really care what he brings out anymore? Was that you, Keith, or was that Robert? I forgot. Oh,
Well,
sorry.
Keith
Maybe
was
I
saying
just
like
like
it
heard.
doesn't
Maybe
seem
I like heard
creative.
it myself, and I froze on the screen for some reason. So,
Making a funny face.
right? I know. I'm like very disgusted with my take right now. No, I also like not like, and we'll move on real quick, but like he is one of the only artists that have gone diamond, and so at this point, I don't think he's like really that concerned with rap anymore. I think that like he just his daughter just got married recently. I think he just does it now. I think he just does it to do it, and at this point, we're just gonna remember he's definitely not coming out with a classic album anymore. Those days where like he came back from that hiatus and he came back with Rihanna and stuff like that, those days are over. Sia,
Because they did a tour. Him and
they
Rihanna
did.
did a
And it was
whole
good.
tour.
I went. It was very good. It was.
I
Very
know
good.
I didn't go, but like I would have went had I been like had I like known about it at the time. I would have gone. I mean, you can give like I'm a proponent for like I don't have to like it to respect it. Like, do I think he has a place in like music history, rap history? Like I would say yes. Even if even pop culture, like to his point, I remember the whole VMA beef and when he brought all the Slim Shadys out and when he was talking
That was
about,
cool.
and when Mariah wrote a diss record about him, that became a #1 record.
We were talking about that. We were talking about that at Hookah the other day. Like how that's like one of the best R&B counters of all time. Probably the best one.
Literally, it's like and most people like don't even know that. Like so, like he has a place. Like I'm never gonna say like I'm not gonna downplay him. I just personally he doesn't personally do it for me. But he has a place. Like so I would say I have respect in that respect for him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So we have J-Lo in the news right now. Oh no, yeah, no, J-Lo, Cardi B and Bia.
Yeah, I came across this article and it was like, because I noticed it was trending on Twitter and people were having the discussion. And I guess her song dropped recently,
I know,
Bia, and she
Luz. I
was,
know. I'm trying to fix it.
yeah.
You going. You going.
Yeah, and Bia said something. One of the lines that stood out was that she was like, "Do I beef with you or do I beef with Party?" You know, and that's the
Ooh,
guy that who's known for writing Cardi's raps.
that
Like,
makes. That makes.
and so that stood out to me. But outside of the beef, because I'm like, beef can be tiring. I do want to point out that I just noticed I saw another article that said on urban radio her song "Enough" rose to the #1 spot, and in
Mhm.
doing so, she's now achieved her 17th #1 hit on that chart, and she holds the record for the most #1s on the chart in all of history on the urban charts. So I don't
That's
know, like,
awesome.
so
You
that's
know what's
interesting.
That's
Carter
funny because
speak.
I literally just heard she tweeted about saying that like she wasn't gonna release her album because her
Yes.
singles weren't doing well, and there's this whole back and forth that she was blaming the fans. She's like, you guys aren't requesting my music, you're not downloading it or doing whatever to make it perform at the level it needs to do. I feel like the whole we just saw it with Kendrick and Drake. Like I can just see them being like, let's just start a rap beef. Like obviously it's really hot. Like if y'all beef each other, because Cardi's beefing with like somebody that's new, like Bia. I'm assuming she's like a younger raptress
She
that's
is.
coming out. Like I'm not gonna believe that like this is just all just happened to happen at the same time. Like this is a stunt. We got a stunt
Yeah.
queen on our hands.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Everybody knows there's money in the beef when it comes to the rap game.
All
So
right, I'm gonna try to do something real quick. Hold on.
okay. Um, but did you want to chime in on that, Vince, or do you want me to move on? Maybe we'll move on. But I he'll probably come back in.
I'm back.
Hi, but
I'm
I think
back.
hey, welcome. There's your beautiful
All
face.
right, I'm back from my stroke. I know I look like Sinbad, but I don't have the same ailments. I was pretty frozen over there, Elsa. I was pretty good, but now we're back. What? Go ahead, tell us the topic, Robert.
You ready to move on?
Yes, and my mother loves the. Well, wow. Pause. Everyone loves a good beef. Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Hey,
Where's the
mom.
beef?
Where's the beef? We got the
Hey.
beats. Keep going, Robert.
Yep. And then it kind of segues. It's still on the topic of music. People are talking about one thing that caught my attention, right? Someone who's one of my favorite music artists and
No way.
multifaceted is, yeah, you wouldn't believe this, but it's J Lo, right? And she's been getting, I would say, bullied this year. Like everything she does, people are just talking so much shit about it. Like she releases a movie, a documentary. Ah, what's wrong with her? She goes down the street. What a miserable bitch. Her husband hates her, and then everybody's talking all this shit about her. She had to cancel her tour, but then it's coming out. Um, some sources are saying that she actually did have 80% of her tickets sold for her concert, but according to her statement was that she wanted to spend time with her family. And I was having this discussion with my mom because me and my mom, we talk about the tea with J Lo, and I feel
The real
like
good stuff.
yes, and I feel like J Lo
Word
and
up.
Mark, at the end of the day, I feel like it seemed like there was a little trouble in paradise, and I felt like, well, I feel like she was just like, you know what? I have enough money in the world. Like, I don't need to do this tour. And I should focus my ass on my husband and these kids and go to these graduation parties. Otherwise, I ain't gonna have no marriage that I'm putting these documentaries on about. Talk
Robert,
about the
Robert,
greatest love
Robert
story never
scolded me.
told.
Those good-looking kids, those very handsome
Those
children.
gorgeous, beautiful, kids. Um, so there was that. Yeah. So that was in the music subject of J Lo, and then on what I watched some stuff about J Lo,
Oh, we'll
but
get to that. We'll get to
we could
that.
get
We'll,
to
we'll,
that.
we'll get to that. So I'm gonna say the same thing about J-Lo and Eminem. Not to say that like we talked about Nicki Minaj too, and I went to her concert. I'm not as big fan of J-Lo's music as I am of her films. I am going to see Atlas. I did not see Atlas yet. I do love her as a film artist. I actually do look forward to a lot of her stuff. I didn't see the last one, Mother, where she was like in the snow and stuff like that, right? I heard that was really good. That one I heard was good.
That was pretty good.
This one I've been hearing really bad reviews. It is doing well on Netflix. Netflix releases their own data, but I was delving into the movies. I'm the one that started this. I sent him an article about J-Lo having her residency almost pulled because of numbers, and I don't want to pick on her. I read an article recently that a lot of artists have been doing that, and that venues have been taking in the artists and their requests and like what their tour dates, and they have not been, and even really major artists, and J-Lo is a major artist, no matter how you feel about it. She is a major artist. Not many people have a residency anywhere, let alone Vegas. So, and she was one of the first people to get those deals. So a lot of them have been overestimating how much they're going to fill those, and they've had to cancel the tours. And I'm not saying this is her, but a lot of them have been making these very convenient excuses of why they have to cancel the tour. Oh, this person got sick, or this happened. But one of the venues were like, yo, SoFi, I think it was. They were like, yo, stop this lying. Like, you said that you were going to sell these amount of tickets. You didn't. And so now you have to cancel the show. So I'm not saying that's happening to J-Lo, but that's been a common thing that's been happening. And again, not to pick on J-Lo, but boo-hoo, a fucking millionaire.
Bolton.
Big dog. What is she, Monica Lewinsky? Like, what do you mean, big dog? Like,
I will say,
we will not compare her to Monica Lewinsky.
No, but she was really getting cyberbullied. Like,
how about you, Keith? What say you?
The first online bullied person ever. But I will say, I do think we did overcorrect a little bit with J-Lo. Like, I do think that for a long time, she was kind of like, you know, she was the Latin princess. Like, she was an actress. She was a musician. She made music. You know, she kind of was just like the woman who did it all. She's beautiful. She's all these things. And I think, you know, with the rise of social media and, you know, the COVID and people just consuming so much, you know, internet history at that point, I think people started to connect things and a lot of things started to come out. And I do think, you know, it was funny, you know, the orange drink thing, because it's just like, as much as she talks about that block, what I think she should have done, this would have been like the best if she did like 4 nights at Yankee Stadium. Like, if she was like back to the block, J-Lo 4 nights at Yankee Stadium, like that would make sense. I just don't. J-Lo she's only ever toured once, and that was off of her big dance album that she released on the floor. So she had a lot of things. She had a lot of practice for her thing. Like, that album was really good. It was the 2010s dance thing. Tickets weren't as expensive. People were like, this is our chance to see J-Lo. So I think they had a lot of hope based off of what the initial experience for her touring was. And I think also she was selling this in the wrong way. Like, I don't think the whole movie documentary, the love story, it's a little too much. Like, if she had maybe just did the documentary, I think people more enjoyed the documentary, like the story of like her and Ben, than the other 2 things that she made. Because like, it is a cute story. Like, it is like that they were together and then they went apart and they had kids and they came back together. Like, I'm rooting for Jennifer and Ben. Like, I want them to be together. I personally, I think she was like, okay, I can go on this tour that is doing okay. But I feel like Jennifer also has a lot of pride in her. So I feel like when she saw that it wasn't selling to her standard, because I believe she is a perfectionist, that she was like, I'm not going to do this. She would rather, because I personally don't even think she really wanted to tour from the start. Like, I think she was just doing it just to kind of, you know, keep the ball rolling. She's doing these movies, these documentaries, she has this stuff. Like, this is the time to strike while the iron's hot. But she's also, you know, this has been her last time she toured, it was almost like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Right. She can sit down. Like, at this point, she needs to take a note from the person, her non-friend Mariah Carey, and lean in. Like she needs to lean in. Like I want to see her being like going back to the block and walking down in the green Versace
But
dress.
she
Like,
did that. She
like
tried
let's
that. She did her Same Girl. She had a song called Same Girl where she was back on the block and she was promoting it like I'm in the Bronx,
But
y'all.
no, I
And
think she has to be.
with
She
her
has to
Yankee
do the
hat.
clue that she's in on the joke. Like I
True.
know, God. Like she has not. She first of all, when she says the block, we know it's not like 40.
Yeah, she
You're
closes
not
down
talking
the
about.
block. She's not
You're
really
not talking
on the
about
block.
the
She like
concourse.
closes down the block when she records that.
She's not talking about the Grand Concourse.
No.
She's talking about
Rome Avenue.
Throgs Neck or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Right,
know.
she still puts
Like,
a G in her throgs.
right,
Oh my
like
God.
you grew up in
Neck.
a house. You grew up in a house with a little yard around it. How many people in the Bronx can say that? So,
I
but
love the video of there's like when she was doing that Same Girl music video and there was like a fence behind her and all the people were trying to claw at her. She's like, I love them.
True.
but because like she needs to lean in because the Bronx, Miami, like these are places like she should have strategically done it. Like I think she's at the point she doesn't have to do a whole tour. She can be like, I'm doing a pop-up show in New York. I'm doing a pop-up show in Miami. Like, why even put herself through the stress? Who in St. Louis is going to see her?
That's
Nobody.
true. That's a good point.
Nobody.
But I like what you mentioned before, Mariah. Me and Robert have read Mariah's book. Have you read her book?
Oh my God, yes.
I love that chapter when I didn't know that they were competing for the same song. I had no idea.
Yes, that's the
like,
whole.
That shade at the end of the chapter, she's like, and I'm real. I was like,
yes.
That was good.
And you know what? It's behind every feud between two women is a man. I promise you.
True.
That man, Tony Mantola, whatever his name was, he did it on purpose, and it's unfortunate that like
tried to sabotage her career.
J-Lo has to pay the price for something that she was just following her dream. If somebody came to you and gave you an opportunity to start your career, you're gonna take it. Like you don't care. You're not thinking about all the other things around it. And I'm sure she didn't even know she was a kid then.
True.
So like,
we love J-Lo here, but fuck Celine Dion though. Fuck Celine Dion. That's all I got.
Oh,
she's got stiff. No, she got stiff person's disease.
Yeah.
So did I a few minutes ago. Y'all didn't give a fuck.
You didn't originate My Heart Will Go On.
No, but wasn't that the one? Before we move on, wasn't that the one she was throwing shade at too? Like she said, it was an international star.
Yes.
They were on the Divas thing, and Aretha Franklin was like upset with the person. And I think she said it was Celine. She said it was the only one with an accent. I was like, who else? Like Gloria Estefan. Not really that like.
It was shady. Mariah's petty. Mariah's very petty for the way she.
Love that about you, Mariah.
Aretha was
one of my favorite.
I'm with. Who invented the word diva for? Like Aretha is number one. She's the best.
Aretha's a petty one too.
Oh yeah, let's move on. Is that? Oh no, I have one more music thing real quick. It's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I don't mind like the labeling of generations, but I don't like when they pit them against each other. And so recently, this weekend, two big music festivals, Roots Picnic in Philadelphia, Jill Scott showed out. A lot of great artists out there, Nas, of course, The Roots. Who else? I was actually
Sexy
Red. I heard she threw it down. Last year, Glorilla was there. And as a similar artist, I know Lucky Day. I was there last year. It was amazing.
I think Chopper was there. Chopper.
Awesome. Usher was the headline, and he replaced Diddy. I remember when I remember when I got sold to Go, and I was like, oh yeah, Diddy, that's fine. Like that's an okay headline. Maybe it'll come out with like because I didn't get to see that whole No Way Out tour. I was like, yeah, sure, the reunion. I think you guys did. I think Bill. Yeah, I remember Bill went.
Yeah.
And I know he's like a big Total fan. He does all that shit. He's the man. So what was I going to say? Damn. Bill distracted me. So with the generational thing. So Summer Jam is now like it used to be in the same weekend as Governor's Ball, and now it's the same weekend as Root Picnic. That's crazy. Like I'm glad that it's not the same weekend Roots and Governors because those are two major festivals. But Summer Jam's gotten kind of light anyway. So I like Sexy Red. There's all types of rap. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm not snooty about it anymore. I used to be snooty about trap. But anyway, so Method Man was one of the people at Summer Jam. He's been at many Summer Jams. Not too many. I remember they got banned for a while, Wu-Tang in general. But Method Man, I've been to many times. I've seen Method Man and Redman together. I've seen Wu-Tang at Coachella when they did their 20th anniversary. He's the man. I love Power. I love Method Man. I love him as an actor. But I thought he was really corny for what he said this weekend. He did not get a response that he liked. And he said that I'm not doing Summer Jam anymore. There's too much of a generational gap. And I think that's really, we were just talking about Eminem. I've been to Eminem concerts recently, and he has really young fans that sing word for word. We're going to talk about Mick Jagger when I went to go see the Rolling Stones this weekend. They're in their 80s. They had children singing their songs. That is corny. Wu-Tang is the shit. Method Man is the shit by himself. To Cal, fucking Blackout, Rottweiler. I know many young people that love that music. So I think it's a corny cop-out when people go, well, it's a generational thing. I go to his shows. I don't know if you've been to his shows, Keith, but at his shows, he's very notorious for doing this. He goes, all right, I'm going to give y'all the energy you give me. If y'all give me low energy, I'm not going to. And then he threatens to leave. So I'm like, yo.
It's like, that's your job. You're literally being paid. This is what you at work.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. Why is this my job to give you the energy? You're supposed to
it's the insecurity, There's some artists that are insecure, and it just taps into their anxiety. And some people hide it better than others, And he lets it show all the way.
I think it's a mix of.
I agree, Robert.
He's just not in his prime anymore. He just can't perform the way that he used to. And it's a different landscape. I think he's used to being in these kind of small, clubs where it's a lot of energy, people like the underground, when he was in the early days of hip hop. Hip hop was only 10 years old.
Went on world tours though. He's been in big.
Well, no, I'm just saying I think it's a different type. I
feel you. Sorry.
The energy, just the energy that's coming off of the crowd, they give that energy to their age group, the Sexy Reds and the Gunnas. They give them that energy because that's what
bitch stay pregnant.
Right. The same, I would, if I went to a Method Man concert, I would be bobbing, but I'm not going to be jumping up, falling over for it. Dude, relax. Don't take yourself that seriously. You're still getting paid. If you don't want to do it, don't threaten us. Cause look at all these names. I got the lineup pulled up right here. It's plenty of people. I'll go see somebody else.
True. Oh, that's what the point I was trying to make. That Usher was an upgrade over Diddy. When Diddy canceled, and my friend was like, "Oh no, Diddy canceled." I was like, "Oh," and then I heard Usher replace it. I was like, "Are they playing together?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "So what are you upset about? That's an upgrade." I was like, "Usher's a way better upgrade than Diddy. What are we doing?" But anyway, no, I totally agree with you. I don't want to repeat myself, but I just think it's a cop out. I think people. They're really good. They're really good. I've been to them recently, and they got a great response. And there was all types of people, all types of ages in the crowd. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't.
I didn't even
listen. Gen Z don't give a fuck. They're like, no, I don't care what you said about me.
Literally, I didn't start listening to Hall & Oates until 2010, and I went and saw them in 2015 in concert, and I loved it. I became a huge fan. So I think that whole thing, the generational thing, if people are into, if it's good music, people are gonna like it. I wasn't alive when Diana Ross put out music, but
Madonna's around the same. Yeah, Diana Ross. Yeah. Madonna's around the same age as Method Man. So that's
Madonna. Yeah,
that's
I listen to them every single day. They're the soundtrack to my life.
I think you made a good point, though. It is definitely a different music landscape, and there are people. I probably would imagine most of the people who were at Summer Jam were from this newer generation, probably more so than the younger. I'm sure there was the heads that always go, they're consistent, but I would imagine there's probably a whole new generation that was out for the Sexy Reds, and his style of music doesn't really translate to what people are doing now, so it's people, and he's I'm not even sure if you for probably $1 billion, I couldn't probably even name 3 of his songs. I probably might not even, so
Oh damn, Rob.
So
Shots fired.
I can imagine.
Woof. Ouch.
No,
Clifford. Woof.
No, I'm just, and not even a shot delivered. I remember he had I don't know. I know he's an actor.
You like a lot of good music. You have to love it all. Yeah.
But like, you know, I feel like that's the general audience. People have a really short attention span,
True.
and he hasn't been
Sexy Red
like
does fit that bill for the short attention span, that's for sure.
right. So
Yeah.
has he really been around like that, like hitting us with his like, you know, the nostalgia, the reboot? Have we been seeing him places to have his song back in our memory? Like, you know, not really. So,
True.
you know, don't be a sore performer.
It's like he's had his day in the sun. Like leave it to
Yes.
somebody. Like you can still perform and you can still do things, but it's just like you're not gonna be like the number one. Like I think that's apparent. Like even if we look at legends now, like you know, even if we think about Madonna, even people like Mariah, like do they always sell out? Are they at the top of the charts when they put out stuff? No, but they have solid fans. Like I love Caution, the album.
Yeah, but
Did
their
it
peak
sell well?
will never touch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it's like they don't have to compete with these other people. So the fact that Method Man is trying to put himself on the same level as Gunna and Sexy Red in them and being like, oh, you're not giving me the same energy as you giving them. You're doing your you're doing your own thing. Like
That's
focus
how I
on
heard
what
it.
you're doing.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, and it's just like, and I don't like when people do not threaten. Just don't do it. Leave.
Then just go, yeah.
Right, Mark Anthony. That's right. Mark Anthony still sells out. I agree. He's the man. I love Mark Anthony. I need to know. And we need to go. Let's go to the next topic. I think we're at the movie section. So that is what the fuck did I watch? Usually we give ourselves some movie reviews. Before we move on, I love Billie Eilish's album. I don't have to review it. I'm obsessed. I love the middle few songs like Lunch and Tree. Oh, gee. Big fan of this album. Big fan of Vince Staples' album. Anybody have an album they're listening to that just debuted?
I do actually like the Billie Eilish. I never really listened to her. Like I'll be very honest, like I couldn't name the songs that she's done. I did find out that her brother was on
Ocean
Glee.
Eyes?
Like,
What? No, I'm joking.
so crazy, but
Oh yeah,
I do
they write together.
like I am enjoying this Billie Eilish album. I'm still stuck on Cowboy Carter and Eternal Sunshine.
Oh
Like,
shit!
like those are my two albums that I'm just like kind
Right.
of I just fill things in between. I am excited for Normani's album.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that. I saw
Finally.
Normani's album coming. I thought Robert.
I was like, the world's gonna end
She's
before
fine.
this girl
She's
drops this
fine.
album. But like, you know what?
Robert,
Maybe
thank you. I'm a fan now.
Maybe that is gonna be the day that the earth cracks in half when she releases the album. It's like, surprise! This is the apocalypse.
Dude, I think she's bubbling up. Yeah, I think she's. Dude, I think the world is ready. I think the world is ready.
Yeah, and it's a lot of music coming out this year, so it's very you know controversial this year. I feel like, or I shouldn't say controversial. It's very like hard to put out music this year because
media.
So everybody's putting something out.
Yeah, because of COVID, a lot of people put a lot of good projects on the shelf, and they're just even Marvel. Like Marvel, we're gonna get to the movies right now. What the fuck did I watch? We're gonna start talking about movies right now. Even with that, like they shelved a lot of like the good Marvel projects, like Wolverine and Deadpool, that's about to come out right now. They didn't want to bring it out when people weren't going to the theaters, and the same thing with the music. If people are not going to listen to get those revenue back. Sorry, guys. Robert.
No, I was gonna say, well, Marvel's taking a total step back this year, and they're just doing that one film. They're just doing Wolverine and Deadpool. But yeah, to Keith's point, I'm probably more between Eternal Sunshine and This Is Me Now, J-Lo's album.
Oh.
And actually,
that is a movie. That is a movie too.
Yes. And I've been listening. I have a new appreciation because Miss Toni Braxton has her residency going on right now.
Oh, she had that thirst trapped, she was butt ass naked. What was that, Instagram?
Yes, and I've been listening to her Libra album, so I'm like rediscovering that. So everybody, Libra album, if you're out there, check that album out. I love that album now. That's like my top, I think it's my top Toni album right now. So
Tony, stop it. It's Gemini season. Stop that shit.
Libra's a good one.
I love Tony. I love Tony. All right. So now we have the movies, and I'm not gonna give these reviews, but at the bottom line, these are the movies that we've watched, and the films are mostly me. Planet of the Apes, all that good stuff. I just saw Furiosa. That was very good. It bombed, by the way. I know, I loved it, but I don't know what happened.
I just think people aren't going to the movies. I think the thing is, one, you remember when we were little, I feel like a movie would come out, it would be in the movie theaters, and it'd be like easy 6 months before you could see that thing again. So there was like an incentive to like get to the movies to go see it. I mean, now they're already putting
I'll
previews
wait
of
for it
when
to
it's
be
going
on
to be
Netflix.
available. Literally, no, quite literally. Like if it's not something that I have to see right when it comes out, by the time I try and go and see it, it's like 2 weeks later, it's gonna be on some streaming somewhere. Like
That
I
is
think
fire.
I think they should like wait a little bit because Furious, I heard it was really, really good.
Very
And I
good.
think that the problem is people are just not going to the movies because the movies are so expensive as well as everything else is right now. So it's
Mhm.
like if I'm already spending, I would probably say on average, most households have at least 2 or 3 streaming services. So if I'm spending at least $60 a
I bring
month
up that average.
on
I'm
on
triple that. That's
streaming,
crazy. Damn.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like I'm already spending, $80, $90 a month on streaming. I'll just wait. And if I got a wife or a partner or kids, like, and we're all going, like, my friend he went to the movies. Bill went to the movies with his best
Oh
friend's
yeah.
husband and his 2 godsons, and he paid for the tickets. The dad bought snacks. He bought like 2 drinks and 2 things of candy and like some
Booze. I saw
macaroni
that
and
too.
cheese bites.
Good.
It was like 50 or something dollars, like $50, $60
Oh, it's
just for
expensive
the
now.
food.
It's like going to a theme
Yeah.
park.
So it's
Yeah.
like that's why I think that's what's hurting the movies more than anything. Like I do think that that's a movie that will pull people in more because it's like Dune. It's this big thing that you should see on the big screen.
That's
But
true.
like these like rom-coms and stuff, like why am I gonna pay $20 to go
Yeah.
watch J-Lo laugh walking down the street? Like I
I
can watch
think
that on the TV.
I think COVID definitely changed the culture of how we experience movies. Like people they're spoiled. Like they put too many movies out that were even blockbusters. Remember that scandal with HBO Max? They put out The Matrix same day, Black Widow. You
And they
can get
lost
like,
Christopher Nolan for that. They lost the
you
United
know,
Artists because of that shit.
and they had a lawsuit from Scarlett Johansson because of it, Disney on their hands.
Yeah,
So, it was really
they didn't
COVID
pay her
really
enough
changed the
for
culture.
they didn't pay her enough for the Marvel role.
Well, no, because she was supposed to get money on the back
Yeah, the
end.
back end for the
Right.
And because they
Denzel got
released
that
it on
deal for a movie
streaming,
too.
she was like, "Oh, y'all got to give me $25 million, at least." So I feel like that's changed things a
Settled,
lot.
right?
Huh?
I think they
They
settled,
settled,
right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the movie experience isn't that great compared to being at home. My girl Grace Randolph on Beyond the
Cole
Trailer
Kidman
talks
and me
about that
disagree.
too.
Cole Kidman.
I go to AMC and
Me
I
too.
hate people on their phones
Oh, I don't
with
like
like
that.
a whole flashlight with their camera to find their seats. They're talking.
Oh yeah,
They're shaking up their popcorn mad loud. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's so annoying. It's so distracting. People talk. I really hate I could just be at home and it's cheaper, And and pirating is through the roof.
Oh my
Like,
god! I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to get arrested, but there's a few on this list that I did that. And I have an AMC and I have many streams, but sometimes I just can't make it in time, or sometimes they don't make it available. Like I like Oscar season. I like to watch all the Oscar movies. I like to have an
Right.
opinion. And there were some that like I couldn't even I couldn't get anywhere. And I'm like, so you just made this I invest so much in like streaming. So you made it hard for me. And again, I had the AMC pass. So if I said this to my sister, I was like, so if you're making it hard for me, you just don't want me to see it. And my sister goes, you would say that as logic. I'm like, no. It's true.
But
It's true. That's
true.
fucked up.
No, it's absolutely true. I think after COVID, everybody wanted to, we were all eager to get back outside, but I think we didn't realize that how isolating and how used to our small bubbles we got, and we just have less tolerance for people in mass, just in large scale groups, just people that don't have common courtesy. Like we're noticing things like that more because people lost that during COVID. And I think that's a valid point that he brought up. Like he doesn't want to deal with all the nonsense of everybody at the movies. Like I shouldn't have to wake up and go to the 12 a.m.
Robert Larry David up here.
I shouldn't have to wake up at, and go to the very first movie because I want to avoid most people, but I really want to see this movie. It's like, that's making it harder on me. Like it's supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. And I mean, for me, like it's all part of the experience, like the people kind of talking, like it doesn't bother me as much, but I
don't go through that door. Don't go through that door.
Steven,
Yeah,
Jimmy
You
Moonshine,
there?
you watching this? That's
I don't
you.
know
The killer's in the bunch.
Oh, I'm scared,
Yeah.
child.
Right.
Real quick.
Yeah.
1999, and not to shit because I love Joy Taylor, Taylor Joy, whatever. Sorry, I just like mixed up her name. She was amazing. So was Chris Hemsworth. He played the Red Dementor. He was a really good villain in there. They explained some things that happened in the last movie in Fury Road, but I'm only saying $32 million. $32 million is pretty good. But in Memorial Day weekend, that is terrible. So
That's not
This
good.
is the
Yeah.
worst.
1999. Since
This is the
1999, that was the
worst.
last time it
Yeah.
did that bad.
Yeah, people are speculating, Wolverine and Deadpool are like our only hope, it looks like, this year for $1 billion
I
movie.
think that's
Summer blockbuster. For
We may
Fury
not have.
$168 million to make. So that's why it's not a success yet. They still got they got quite a few millions to go before they
I agree.
Yeah.
And one more little tidbit. And I agree. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, starring Marissa Elba, so good. I don't know if anybody's seen Industry. That's where she's from. She's Lebanese. She's really good. Loved Amy Winehouse.
I love Industry.
Little simple biopic. Wasn't like, but it was very good. Very good acting. Basically like the documentary. It was just like a condensed version of the documentary. That was more sad though, the documentary. But even more. All right, let's get down to Atlas. It is doing very well on Netflix. It's the number one streaming movie right now, according to Netflix. I'm joking. Go ahead, Robert. Report on this.
Well, it says that Luminate's streaming originals charts says they had 1.3 billion minutes watched on Netflix and just under 11 million views.
Impressive.
And it was the biggest title of the week in either film or TV. And I watched it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It was a good, like, the graphics were good because sometimes that takes you out when the graphics suck and then like it's kind of a subpar plot or something. But the plot was interesting. It really asked the question about like AI, and that was one of the points of it where her character wasn't sure if she wanted to do like the Neuralink, which is something we've talked about on the show, where it's like
Tesla. We
would
did
you
talk about
connect
that,
right? Would you connect yourself to a robot like 100%? And she had this. She wasn't willing to. And I think that's something that I feel like we all can relate to. Like, how far would I go with AI? Like, if I'm promised I can really just do everything at 110%, So it was an interesting film. I think it's
Say no to steroids. No.
it's definitely one of her. Like, I did not like Shotgun Wedding. And
Oh, that was kind of cute. I thought it was kind of cute.
Was there any cannibalism in it? Was there what happened? Oh,
But
no, they kicked him out. Oh, they kicked him out. They kicked him out. They kicked him out.
It was Josh Duhamel.
Yes.
Josh
No, well,
Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel. No, he maybe ate Fergie, but no. What's his name? Army Hammer. They kicked him off that movie. I remember.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because he was like eating people in letters. Like he was like making.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Drinking people's blood like Billy Bob. Like it was crazy.
The film was good. I enjoyed it. I heard an interesting conversation going around, being that this is a Netflix movie, it kind of segues where people are saying, Netflix started off as a company that sent out DVDs, right? You used to have to rent.
People still doing it.
But they refuse outright pretty much to make any DVDs for their content. And a lot of people like to own their stuff. And so like there's people who are like working actors working.
So Roma doesn't have a DVD or a Blu-ray?
Which one?
Like Roma, like one of their movie, the one of their first Academy Award.
I don't know.
I don't think they do it. I don't think
That's
they do it.
great. I didn't know that.
So it's like there's a lot of people who work on the films that they don't even have the option to own it. So it's like really, I think it's an interesting conversation. That's like Netflix. They started off in physical media, and now they're just all digital, and they're refusing to pretty much, to play ball.
I agree. That is interesting. I didn't know that.
And I think it leaves money on the table because I would like to own a couple of these projects. Like, some of these films, some of these series, I would own them on DVD and Blu-ray.
Well, they're the number one streamer in the world, but I still think, and what's his name, Saranos, keeps saying that they haven't turned a profit yet. I know that's like weird. They have not turned a profit.
Netflix?
Netflix. They put a lot of money into their content. and they put a lot of
Yeah.
money into their studio films, their major studio films. And so he says they're like very close, but like they have never really turned like a real profit. They've been in the red for a long time, even though they're the number one streamer for like 10 years.
They're doing too much. I think it's because nobody expected them to start to try and compete with like Paramount Studios. Like they shouldn't be trying to take up that space. If they want to make really high quality TV shows, I think that's well within their realm. Like that's something that they're very successful at. And I do obviously think some of them, obviously they've had Oscar nominated movies and things like that. But I think that's like where they kind of like, I think it all started with House of Cards because that got really big, got very like lots of like accolades and stuff like that. So once they got the taste of it, they're, now they want more. Like it just is crazy to me that like we're comparing like HBO and Netflix. Like it's just kind of
number two. That's
like it's just like
streaming.
Like to me, it's just and the password sharing is some BS. When they took that away, that's why honestly, I haven't seen any of the Netflix TV shows or movies that have come out probably in the last like 6 months.
You can pay, if they're in the same household, you could pay like an extra 70 cents or something like that to add a user. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I've honored my payment to them for like the entire time that I had their service. Even when they raised it, also I still had it.
They're about to raise it again
or whatever. But it was just annoying. Like it's just like, it made me feel like, well, if you don't care enough about like if this is gonna be the hill you want to die on, I'll let you die. Like I'll stay off of it.
There's never been a real draw for me for Netflix. There was never like a show. Like the only thing
I don't love their movies though, but I do love Netflix.
The only thing that I really love from Netflix that stands out to me was like the Daredevil series. I was obsessed with Daredevil and the Marvel shows. So those I liked, and that probably
the shows are good. Yeah,
but
Jones, that was good.
Especially now, there's nothing really that I'm like, oh, I need to have Netflix for. No, I like.
Well, One Day is
Max.
on here. It's on my little ticker. That was very good. It's a romantic comedy. It's a little sad too.
Which one?
Sad. One Day. I didn't watch Reindeer yet, but that was like a very trending show.
Oh, I do want to watch that.
That was like he said, the shows are like they're doing very well. So Bridgerton is killing right now. I just watched the 3rd season of that. Love Queen Charlotte. No, I think Netflix still their movies are okay. And speaking of which,
that's the thing.
Yeah, some of them are okay. Like but they know who they're marketing to, and that's what I was trying to say before. Like they're just really bankable stars. So that's sometimes when I look at these like box office numbers or even like Billboard charts, there's some people that are just so established, like Adam Sandler, for instance. That was a great deal, and that's why I'm shocked. I don't know. I have to like look into it. I don't know if J-Lo has an exclusive deal because she has a lot of Netflix movies.
She must. She
must have an exclusive deal. That's what I'm saying. But he does, and he has a lot of shit movies. But they showed his numbers, like he made well over. Like that deal was one of the best deals ever. At first, everybody was laughing at it because he had like Jack and Jill. He had like some really shitty movies on there, but they do very, very well. So
that
audience
family movie, yeah, he did well.
Audience Netflix are the home dwellers. So like, I'm not trying to like profile them, but they. So Chris
it's the same reason
when he comes out with that movie with the shoot 'em up and army stuff, like those are people who just stay home all day pretty much.
It's the same people that like when I see TV shows like on CBS that have been on for like 20 seasons, and I'm like, who's been watching The Big Bang Theory this long? And it's the same people that
Sheldon finally ended, thankfully. God damn,
like,
that IP is being dragged.
Who's been watching these shows? And it's just, to me, it's just the CBS anomaly. I just think that that's just a channel that everybody leaves on when they're not paying attention. But I digress from that. Like, are you? I bet if that popped up, I bet you it wouldn't be still playing. But I feel like it's those same people. Like, it's just like you hear about something so much, you're like, oh, I'm gonna finally watch it because I've been hearing about reindeer games or whatever for so long, so I'm gonna put it on. The Good Doctor is another.
Ben Affleck got back in the combo.
I feel like Apple TV's got my attention a lot more than.
And Apple TV, Royale. That was good too. That was good. I love
Physical on
Apple TV. That was really good.
It's really good.
I
see down there the Black Twitter. I watched that on Hulu. That was really
so good. Oh, I'm glad. Oh man. And I didn't know that it was going to be like a episode type thing. Like the first episode was amazing, and I didn't realize how much social media. So, Hulu, and actually the original channel is Onyx, but Hulu has it. And so for anybody that's never seen it, thank you for mentioning that. And there's another Black-centric movie on here too that really got bombed in the movie theater, The American Society of Magical Negroes. I saw that on and it's #1 on Peacock. So you just never know. Like you said, actually it proves both of your points of like it's just whether it's hard to get to the movie,
Right.
whether people just don't want to be there for that experience. So it's #1 on Peacock right now, and it's fantastic. I thought that was a really good movie. But back to Black Twitter. Yo, the hashtags came from Black Twitter. So many cultural moments. I forgot about that tweet from Rihanna, like, yo, your pussy's too dry to be riding my dick. Like, yo,
Yes.
Robert, you gotta watch it. It is really good.
On
It's very
Hulu?
yeah.
It's on Hulu, yeah.
Yeah, Black
Okay.
Twitter. Black Twitter.
It's
and it's 3
crazy that-
episodes, documentary.
They can pinpoint the people that started
Yes.
a hashtag trend. That's like a crazy thing. Like, you know,
Okay.
it's almost like, you know, because some of these people have kind of become like lore, you know, like some
Yeah.
of these where you heard about how something started, but it's like now we have like proof and we can search the logs and find out who was the first person to use hashtag, you know, Black Twitter, you know, like that. To me, that was the most interesting part about it, because usually there's always kind of like, we don't quite know where this started, but it's like now you literally can find the very first person that used it.
I like that.
But it's very interesting. But it is
very good.
I would you should watch it. It's really
Very
interesting.
I'm with it.
Yeah, so much history behind it. So much cultural appropriation you didn't know happened, but you figure that it happens. But yeah, there's so many things that like Twitter like took credit for, and Instagram, and it was all on Black Twitter. And I loved it. It was unapologetic. It was like one of my favorite parts was being on Black Twitter. You didn't have to explain like who you were. Like everybody knew like the cultural currency. It wasn't like just trying to show off. Like you were just yourself, and I thought that was really cool.
Well, and it's like and then people, they talk about it in a thing about like people are like, well, how do you get to it? And it's just like you're just a part of a community, and it's just like I'm not following all the same people that, you know, a Black person in Minnesota's following, but we are all seeing the same thing because we are all sharing and having the same conversation and sharing the same shared experience. And even though we're not in each other's like actual orbit, we're still all kind of like in this larger galaxy, which is like the beauty of community that is like natural with like, you know, when you have like a cultural connection. Like I'm sure there's very different experiences and like different cultures for different modes of media and you know, social media.
Well, they have their day one. No, I'm joking.
I'm sure there's. I mean, I've seen.
What was the one that Latin people had? Mi gente. Yeah, come on, man. Everybody got their day.
See, my algorithm, Vince is always like, you know, he says I'm always talking about J-Lo, but my algorithm, whenever news comes up, I see a lot of fucking J-Lo and Drag Race and Britney Spears, and that's my algorithm. I can't help my fucking algorithm. I didn't hear about Method Man. I'm sorry, it didn't come into my circles, as my brother would say. You know.
True. Oh man, that was really good. And
thankfully, my Twitter algorithm is a little different than my Instagram algorithm.
That's good.
My Instagram algorithm, when it's just like Drag Race and shirtless men.
All my platforms are different. My Instagram is full of Black Labs. My TikTok is unfortunately filled with Trump. I like too many Trump stuff on there. I gotta fix that. And you're right. Like each one has something different. Like, and they all try to get us for something else. So crazy. And yes, I do like The Good Doctor, and I like the spinoffs too. The Good, there was like another lawyer show or something like that. That was good.
Oh no, you're talking about the Good Fight, and that's
to The Good. Who's The Good Doctor? Is that the one with the Asperger?
He's like young. It's like a new Dookie House.
Oh yeah. So that's the one with that. Yeah.
You're talking about The Good Fight.
Spectrum. My bad. I got it wrong. Sorry, Juliana Margolis. Sorry about that. My bad. All right, we're moving on. Unless anybody has something to say about Venom 3, the trailer, I didn't see it. I'm looking forward to it, but like
I saw it, and it looks like some fun. You know, if you've seen any of the Venom films, they're fun. You know, like you have a good time, you leave your brain at the door, and you have a good time. It's like, but I was listening to a podcast, some podcasters' comments on it, and it's like it's the I think it has something to do with Spider-Man verse, because
Yeah.
there's
Oh
that
well, they brought
quote
that in the
from
last one too.
there's that exact quote from Michael Keaton when he's the Vulture and he makes his appearance in Morbius, and
Yes,
he's like, I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. So it's like kind of like this is what this universe is. Like I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. And I
I
think
hope
that's kind of
so. I love the crossover. I love the crossover stuff. I think it's like if you're gonna sell me on a gimmick, give it to me. Like
all the
I
way,
eat it
all the
up.
way.
Like I love the mashup when they have the like in game, all of that stuff. Oh, it was. I'm glad I was in the movies for that. It was an
yeah.
amazing experience. I think they should just if they tease it and then they don't do it, that annoys me. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Put Venom, Morbius, even though Morbius tanked. Like, give us, I
And I
love
want to see
Justice League, the
Craven
movie.
either.
It didn't do
Craven was
great, but
terrible
like, I
too.
love the idea. Whatever.
Yeah. I
I
still
don't
need to
think
see
Sony
Madam
handles it
Web.
well, other than Spider-Man. They're the whole universe thing they do. I don't think they do a good job. I don't even think I'm not. I've enjoyed Venom. Venom's one of my favorite characters, by the way. Carnage is my ultimate favorite. He's like in the background somewhere. But I don't even think they did him justice. I don't like what Sony does with the Spider-Man
But
character, Spider-Man.
yeah,
And I'm actually just waiting for that to expire so Marvel can take that over
but they
because
will never
Tom
let it
Hardy
expire
They're
because
not going to let it go.
it makes them like, especially the
not
video games.
expire, but like ready for Marvel to take the reins on that with Venom at least. I know that what they did with Spider-Man when they did the most with the Venom, it's been mostly Sony. Like I know Marvel is
Yeah.
like
Right.
in cohesion, but like it's not the same collaboration that they did with Paige and freaking what's her name, Pascal. It's not the same. So that's the treatment I want for Venom in the
The
future.
most I think we could hope for is what people are saying is that we might get to see him in Secret Wars. That's
So
like
that'd
the
be cool.
next one of the next Avenger films that are coming out. So that's probably the biggest thing we could hope for is that we might get Tom Hardy to come over for that film because it looks like they'll hold on to Hugh Jackman at least for that for the
It's like
Secret Wars
70
film.
playing Wolverine. Holy shit.
So
Excited.
yeah, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
all
One
I have to
thing,
say.
Ralph, I know you don't watch the show, but you were right. I was wrong. I thought Sony owned Hulk also. Universal still owns Hulk. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
they don't even own the distribution for them. Marvel, oh no, my bad. Marvel owns the rights to Hulk, but the distribution film, Universal still owns, and they
That's
won't.
why he hasn't gotten the movie. That's why
Yeah,
don't
they
have
won't let him do a solo. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And he was
But
in.
it worked out. We don't need
Nah,
another Hulk movie. Like,
Mark
he's good
Ruffalo.
as a support. I
Yeah,
love
Mark
Mark
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo.
You don't need to transform too much. You don't need to transform.
I don't want him to transform. I like him to be
Exactly.
shirtless.
That's my mom's boo.
Oh shit!
Me and your mom, we can sit there and talk about him together because he is fine. Especially when he got that little curly salt and
Searchlight,
pepper hair.
searchlight. All right, we're moving on to where the fuck did we go? Let's start off with Robert. Bravo! He did a show this week. I went on Friday. It was such a good time. Shout out to the crew, the improv crew. But I won't take up the space. Please tell us about your great show. That was a great and Mama Luz was there. That's right.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I was in a sketch comedy show for 2 nights called the sketch group is a series of unfortunate folks, and this one was loveless jokers. So the theme had a lot of our neurotic BS that comes up with dating and all that kind of thing was on the forefront. And I had a good time. I got to play this one character as a through line in probably 3 different scenes. It was the character Mindy, and she's kind of like my Jimmy Kimmel, like gross character, like talks like that. So I had a lot of fun. That was like I felt like my drag race debut at the end. I got to do a rap in my wig and this pink trench coat, and so
You
I
were
could
feeling
ask
your
more.
oats.
Yeah, shout out to Jasmine Cornell, the creator of that sketch comedy group, and the writers, Gina Nicole Brown and Darius Slack, and the rest of my people, Liz and Patrick Corbett. Yes, oh yeah, Edwin, Obi, Sunny, our director. It was a good time. I was grateful to there's me in my silly outfit in the middle there.
Crew.
Yeah, my Western themed Texas Hold'em outfit that I busted off my jacket to perform in. So it was fun. When you do sketch comedy, you learn a lot about yourself because it's not easy to be funny. And as a performer, it was a great challenge being live on the stage, having to rap live on the stage, like do spoken word and do all that was a challenge for me. So it was a lot of fun. I was really grateful for the experience. And I'm glad you came out, Vince. I'm glad you got a good time. We do a sketch show associated with this Keep Up web series. So the whole cast came out to
Very fun
support
too.
because
Very
Gina
funny.
and I are in the show, and so Vince and Junior and Charlene came out, and we got to record some episodes for our show. So it's gonna be coming soon. So it was a great night. Thank you guys for coming.
No problem. And thank you for coming out to my birthday. We did it at the Broken Shaker. Shout out to DJ Boulevard. I kind of piggyback on his event. He does a vinyl series every month at the Broken Shaker. I had never been there before. I heard they have a few popping places, not just New York City. I heard their Miami bar is really cool. Um, I know Robert doesn't partake, but I'm a big cannabis smoker. And my friends were making fun of me. Oh, thank you, Luz. Thank you so much. My friends were making fun of me because they kept coming up to us about smoking. At first, I didn't know that you could. It was a rooftop, and I was like, And actually, we're about to have two stories about this. My friends were like, Vince. I know the security was like, no, you can't smoke, blah blah blah. And I must have been really lit because as soon as he left, I just went. And my friends were like, yo, you really feeling yourself. If you did not give a fuck about the security, I was like, it wasn't on purpose. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just having a good time. I was just like, but no, I had a wonderful time. Robert gave me a wonderful gift. He gave me a nice wild berry polo from his workplace. It's awesome. I love it. I wore it at the show, but I'm a big sweater, so I did not. I was trying to do the skits because we did like a couple of footage for the web series. I was like this. I was like all stiff because I was like my fits.
Yeah,
My fits were
underarms.
like, I was like, man, why did I not wear a dark shirt for this fucking shit? What's wrong with me? What's
You
wrong
look
with
great.
me?
You look
But I
great.
love. Oh, thank you. I love pink. It's a great color. It's a cool shirt. I love polos. Let's move on.
But I will say it was a fun birthday, and the Broken
Oh man.
Shaker was really cool. It was nice to be outside. A little fun fact about me: my ex works in that building, so I hadn't been back there in quite some time. I hadn't been to this place,
Oh,
so
Robert,
I
I
was
did not
like,
know that. My
"Oh,
bad.
yeah." I'm like, "Oh,
Triggered.
great." I was like, great, great, great. This is going to be interesting.
Holy
Thank God I didn't
shit.
see anybody. So that was a great part. But I was like, yo, back on this block. I haven't been here in a while. But it
Back on
was
the six.
right. I'm like, damn, I can't go back over there because I don't like to be on people's territory. It's just my thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's so much places to go. I can't be on your territory. Please don't be on mine.
You want to be like
So
Joe from You? You know, like I thought I thought stalking was like the new thing now.
It was cool again.
Right, Joe Cool.
right. I'm good. I'm so good. But
True,
I
true.
I did like it. I would go back. I would go back.
Oh
It was
man, that was really special, man. And the fact
yeah,
that you still stayed, even
yeah,
though realized that you were in like the Twilight Zone.
right.
That
And I
meant a
love
lot.
meeting your sis and some of your friends are really
Oh,
great. They were all really nice. Yeah, it was a great night. It was beautiful out. Sorry, I had a headache. I had a major headache. I was at
sure,
rehearsal
yeah,
that night,
for sure.
and but
One of you needed that food in the beginning too, man. When I have a headache, I need to eat, man. That shit hurts. All right. Well, again, thank you. And real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but it was really cool. That whole birthday weekend was dope. I went to go see the Rolling Stones. My mother, it's her favorite band in the world, and I really like them too. Like, not only did she help me get introduced to them back in the day, 91. I know it was a long time ago, but I had one of the first CD Walkmans, the Discman, and it was so old. I think you guys remember this that you couldn't move it. Like I don't know why it was called a Walkman or a Discman because if there was any type of movement, the fucking CD skipped.
It didn't have the anti. They didn't have the anti-gravity.
Thank you. Where's the fucking anti-gravity, Ant
Yeah,
Man? What's going on here? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And so, Flowers was one of the first albums I've ever listened to. for 80-something-year-olds, they were really, really good. I saw them last time on the No Filter tour, and Mick Jagger just had heart surgery, so they were a little bit off. But this time, and they were missing Charlie Watts. Rest in peace to him too. One of the best drummers of all time. He was not at the show. Again, another smoking story. I'm smoking with my cousins and my uncle, and this woman in back of us, she taps on me, of all people, and she goes, could you stop smoking? Karen in back of me, could you stop smoking? There's 15-year-olds around here. And I respectfully turned around and said, no. And I kept talking. And and my uncle, for some reason, was acting like timid. He was like, oh, put it out, blah, 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 apologize. And my cousin, shout out to my cousin, she goes, why? I'm about to light up another one. I was like,
Okay.
Cuzzo for the win.
And Keith is, and I've been at concerts with Keith where there was young people in the crowd and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to impede on their space. I did not go to concerts when I was a teenager. Like, nobody brought me when I was at that age. I had to like sneak and shit like that. But my point is, you in my world. You in my world. Like, I don't
pay for your
here.
Girl didn't pay for theirs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the first
what? That's another thing. You didn't pay for that ticket. What'd you do? A lemonade stand to get there? Like, no.
No. I'll go to work every day.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you.
That should have been going to a bill to buy this ticket. So I'm gonna do whatever I want to.
Keith stands on business.
For real. Like, I don't look. Because when we were at the weekend concert, I think somebody tapped somebody and was like, "Oh, put it down." I was like, "Girl, you better turn around and leave me alone. Like, if you don't want me to ruin your night, I will ruin your night. Because I will. This mouth will ruin it."
The one time that I did where I felt bad, there was a pregnant lady right next to me. And I didn't even whip out any of the J's. Like, I had a bunch of J's in my pocket, and I looked to my, nobody had to tell me. I like looked to my right. I was like, she was like right there. Like, there was no way to get, like, she could have been like, oh, it's okay, because like that's not the worst thing that's ever happened to a pregnant lady.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like, so, but I still had a wonderful time. Great night. My family, the people that I went with, they love the tailgate. We go to Jet games together, so we were partying like 4 hours before. I don't ever do that, but they love to do that. And we were there from like 3:30, and the show didn't start until like 9:30. So we were.
Wow.
We were. I know I don't usually do that, Robert. Like, I go to a lot of shows. I need as much energy as possible. So
yeah,
not like. Yeah, and they're older. Like my uncle, it was just his 60th, and he's the number one. He's the number one once the pregame. And back to Keith Richards, they love to shit on him too. They're not even like as big a fan as my mother is of the Rolling Stones. So they always love to bring up that Keith Richards is not that great of a guitarist. So thank you, Luz. They're the losers. Keith Richards is the shit. He might be melting, but he's the man. He's the fucking man.
He's been melting since.
So real quick, I went on an Intrepid to go see Maverick. I did not know that that's where it premiered. I thought that was really cool. I love Maverick. I love Tom Cruise, but Top Gun was very good. The sequel was very good. The third one's going to come out in a couple of years because it did so well. But watching it while the planes are going, that was very cool. I loved it. I should have put some visuals, but whatever. We're running out of time. Let's get on to, unless there's anywhere you went, Keith, that you want to tell us about.
Actually, I went to the QVC Food Fest.
Indeed, I saw that. That was very cool.
Yeah, nice. It was the most mundane, like, middle America thing I've been to. It was absolutely delightful. Like, I got all kinds of. They were so nice. Like, I got so much food and so many full size samples. Like, I got 3 bags. 3 bags full of stuff. It was very pleasurable. I was like, hey, like, I leaned in, like, that's one of those things. It's like, you can make it painful or you can make it enjoyable.
Exactly.
And you know what? I enjoyed it. I didn't know who any of the people were. I was texting my Nana at the same time, and she was like, "Are you at QVC? Is that Robin? Is that Albie? Is that David?"
She knows the whole crew.
She knew the crew.
Oh, wow.
I told him, I said, I didn't even have to tell her to turn it on because I already knew it was on the TV. And she said, "You're right. You're absolutely right." She was watching it because I forgot to tell her.
I have a question, Keith. Has Bill has brought us, and mostly you, to many events. Has he ever brought you to a bad event? Has he ever missed?
The only event that I was coerced to go to that I regretted because I didn't really, I was kind of like talked into doing it, was the Anita Baker concert at Newark. That only because
he tweeted about that forever.
Only because that was literally the worst concert experience I have ever had.
Yeah,
but it was more
so like remove his name too. And like,
yeah, she kicked that. It was terrible, and I know it was her. I blame it all on her. Like I don't care. It was her fault. She sounded amazing because she has that deep voice, so it still sounds really great. But like other than that, it was terrible. But to answer your question, no, I feel like I did not listen to New Kids on the Block when I was a kid. I did not know I knew who they were, but like Bill is also my ex, so we dated, and so I used to go to all the New Kids on the Block because he's a blockhead. Which now I do listen to New Kids on the Block.
Okay, now you're a blockhead. Okay,
I am.
Okay.
I am sadly, but no, he hasn't. He's good. He's good for a good concert. Like he goes to everything from Sexy Red to Celine Dion to Carrie Underwood to
he's the Veronica recently. I didn't even know they were touring.
Yeah,
like, oh God,
I was supposed to go, but I was in San Diego. I told him about that concert.
I told him. You see, Eminem, the thing that I most associate New Kids on the Block is Eminem's line where he's like, "New Kids on the Block suck a lot of dick." That's my biggest association.
Like what they did to him,
right?
I don't know.
And that was, that's why Keith don't listen. He was on One Tree Hill and he was like, "Nah, I'm good with this. This don't rock with the Dawson Street."
And I think maybe someone had a doll in my house there because they had dolls back in the day.
Yes,
so
they
one
had
of my
dolls.
brothers
Yeah,
did.
Joey McIntyre was looking a little sus. He was a little sus. So was Jordan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is your segment anyway. This is What the Fuck Did I Say? So we're learning more about you. So it's good that we started off with the Bill questions and stuff like that. Let's talk. You don't have to go too deep into like whatever you don't want to, but like, what are your passions? Do they intersect with your day job? Yeah. That's the question. Do your passions intersect with your day job at the moment? Because as New Yorkers, that's pretty much like inevitable.
Yeah, I think honestly, like what I've come to learn about myself in the last, 5 to 6 years is my work is not going to be my passion. Like I'm never going to be fulfilled by the work that pays my bills because I have to do it to pay the bills. Now, with that said, I do have a very low stress job. I enjoy the people I work with. I enjoy the stuff that I do. And I do enjoy the opportunities that my job has given me to have more of like a platform and more of like a presence. I really, want to get into like emceeing and hosting different types of events. So through work, I was invited to be on a panelist for at Paramount in the city, like at the offices. It was a totally separate event that somebody just suggested me for. I was recently emceed at the dance parade a couple weekends ago at in the city. So that's kind of like what I'm doing. I do the Mermaid Parade and the Pride Parade and Poseidon, all the parades around New York City with the Tail Shakers. Follow us on Instagram at the Tail Shakers. So like that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like I'm really kind of betting on myself for the first time in my life. So I'm enjoying kind of like being in my own corner, and it feels good to not have to not be waiting for approval from somebody else. Like I'm giving myself the approval. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, like I'm not gonna, beat myself up over it. But there's been so many times I felt like when I was younger where I had an opportunity, but I was so scared about looking stupid or looking a certain way to other people that it kind of kept me from doing it. And I'm just at a place now in my life where it's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm ready to be that old man that doesn't care what people think about.
Yeah, no, you look great. That always looks good on people when they don't give a fuck. It's always the best look.
Right. But in a way that like I still do, like I care about what's happening to me around the world, But no, I know.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, like I'm saying like I'm saying that to say because like I think that there's a difference. Like there's a difference between just being an asshole and being like just like I'm minding my business, doing my own thing. You know, I think those are two different things. But that's like
and that in the 48 laws of power too. Like everybody says, "Oh, I don't worry about what other people think." Like you said, that makes you an asshole. Like I don't think it like should affect you all the time. Like you should be the one
right.
making the ultimate decisions, but like not paying attention. Like how do you get better? Like you can't just
Right.
always self-analyze yourself.
Literally.
And I would say, you know, touching on something you mentioned, where it's like, if things don't work out, it's like, you know, they work out the way they're supposed to. Like, they work out to fall into place the way they should. So it's like, taking this time to bet on yourself is really like an important thing to do, you know, so that you can have a fulfilled life. So, you know, taking that chance is gonna allow the pieces. Maybe things won't work out exactly as you planned, but it's gonna work out exactly as it should, so that you can just keep that momentum up, you know. So yeah,
100%.
that's
Like
that's great.
I to elaborate on something that you just said, like in 2019 was a really hard year for me personally. Like it actually started out like it was really amazing, like all the way up until the fall. Like I saw, you know, I went to Australia that year. I went to a bunch of concerts. That was World Pride here in New York. It was a great time. I was front row at the Ariana Grande tour. Like it was, I went and saw that tour like 3 times. And you know, like some things happen like at the end of the year, and it's kind of just like wiped everything away. And you know, I basically had to kind of like reset everything. And I think going through that, I was kind of like, this is the lowest I could be. Like I don't know, like I could not come up from it. And I think going through that is what's making me appreciate where I'm at in my life now, and to be able to just like enjoy the good things are happening. And I've put in the karma, and I do good things. I put good energy out. I want to be the best person that I can be. And it's okay to like accept the good things that are happening to me for them to be the good things. You know, and like I'm not gonna say like I don't ever have to worry about anything happening to me in life anymore, but it's just like I'm appreciating this moment because I've earned it. Like, and I've put in, you know, I've gone through the experiences and the sacrifices that I need to do to be able to appreciate it. Because if this had happened when I was like 25 or something like that, like if I was kind of on this career path, I would not have taken it seriously, and I probably wouldn't be able to leverage it the way that I am now and take full advantage of everything that is that I have access to. And I appreciate that. So
Yeah. You
that's
know,
what
I
I
have.
have to say.
You know, I was
Oh,
having this.
I want to get Robert some time. That's why. My bad.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with my coworkers, and you know, we had a conversation around the topic of confidence. And I said, for me, I feel like confidence comes down to, not that, you know, that you just like, oh, bad shit won't happen to you, but knowing that who you are doesn't change when the bad shit happens to you, and knowing that you can take whatever the fuck is coming, like whatever the world throws at you, you know, you don't change, and that you will rise above, and that you can handle it, you know. I think that's the kind of confidence that I think, you know, allows you to succeed, when you're just like, shit, whatever the fuck comes. If someone breaks up with me, someone does whatever, someone dies, anything, you know, just
Your
knowing
co-host
that,
wears the
like,
best. They get
yeah,
the chest
you
out.
know,
Yeah, I'm ready for it all.
insurrection, all that, whatever happens, you can rise above it, you know?
Word. All you need is the Viking helmet. You're right. That's all you need. You should be. Now you need the Craven vest. You need the Craven vest.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Robert, do you have a question for Keith? Not to
Um,
put you on the spot. I just don't want to hog all the time.
I would say, what's one of the things you're looking forward to most about this year?
Nice.
Or one of the things that,
Um,
or one
That's
of
a
the
good
things you're
question for
most
Keith because Keith is
gratitude,
active.
you know, or what are the things that you feel most proud of going on? Because I feel like people always thrive and don't arrive. So, you know, either one, you know.
yeah. I mean, honestly, this year, this is the first time in my life I can say that I'm like focused on my professional growth and like trying to get to a certain point so that I can afford the things that I want to afford, and you know, have nice things. Like that's just, I know what I want, and like I'm gonna do what it needs to take to get there. And you know, I'm proud of, like, I put in a lot of effort and work in what I do, and I'm good at my job, and it's showing. And I'm excited that like I see the momentum moving forward, and it does make a difference. Like even though like my work isn't my personal happiness isn't dependent on my work per se, it does afford me to be able to do the things that also make me happy, like being able to go and stay in San Diego with my best friend for like 3 weeks while, helping her out because she's a single parent. Like that fills me, like that makes me feel like a great person. And because I'm able to do that with my job, like, so, like just being able to have the affordability and the access to do certain things, like I'm excited about that. Like I'm excited for that next step in like my professional growth, because it's something that, like, when I say I've never worried about it, like I've never once put in enough effort at a job to like I was always performing
We've
at
all been there.
like 40% capacity, like at all times. Like I barely ever wanted to do anything. And now, like, I put in more effort because like I care about the people I work with, and I care about like, how we work together. So like now I'm performing at my highest level and it's paying off. So I am looking forward to that check at the end of the year
Oh, I
once I
like
get
that.
the promotion. That's
Yes.
gonna button it up, the
Hold
bag.
on, real quick. Let me restart my frozen bitch face
Yeah.
again. Hold up.
Oh, I was like, wow, he is not happy for me.
No, he's not. But I am. That's great. So who do you choose, Little Mix or Fifth Harmony?
Oh my god. Okay. First of all, I love the chaos of Fifth Harmony. All live Fifth Harmony performances are absolute chaos. I
Oh,
actually
you found
saw
the
them.
right guy, Robert. You found-
I actually saw Fifth Harmony right after they were finished off of X Factor at a Perez Hilton used to do these like one night at Perez events where he would have like up and coming artists, and one of the last ones he had, Fifth Harmony was there, and it was like they were performing like in this little back area. So I love Fifth
With
Harmony's
their
chaos. But I have to say, Little Mix, those are my girls. I literally have a Little Mix shirt that I got the reason I'm an Ariana Grande fan was because they opened for her on the Dangerous Woman tour, and I only went to go and see them, and then I became an Arianator because of
look at
them.
that.
Like I was not,
He'll be
was
back.
not,
He'll be back.
I was not that like big fan of Ariana Grande. Like I thought, I was just like, oh, she can sing, but I thought it was kind of like gimmicky, like the way she sounded. But when I saw her live after, because that was the one time Little Mix ever performed in the States. I actually had tickets. There's supposed to be a Pier 23 or something, and they actually canceled it. I was so mad. So Little Mix.
Do you think that it was a good casting her for Melinda?
Glinda.
Glinda.
Yes. She can act. She's a good actress. She's a good singer. And have you seen she did what is it, Hairspray Live?
I didn't see Hairspray live.
And she started in
I've
theater.
seen Hairspray on TV, but I didn't see it on Broadway.
Yeah. I'm excited. Like I think her and like she's
like her.
really,
I think she's really
she's like
talented.
she's almost like a method singer almost.
I
Like
was
when
about
she
to say
gets in
meth
these
head. I'm like, damn, Mac Miller, what'd you do to her? No,
too soon. But no, but I think she is, because I think when she goes into these kind of eras, like she kind of becomes these people. She was black when she did she did Dangerous.
Yo, I had no idea she was Italian. For a long time, I thought she was Hispanic, and then one day I found out she's just full Italian. Ariana Grande.
No, she is a whole white woman.
Like, damn, that bronzer is serious.
She went crazy.
Speaking of Little Mix and blackfishing.
Oh, Jesse.
For real. For real. They need to put her on Black Twitter. Holy shit, man.
Okay.
Oh my God. And it's unfortunate because I did watch her special, Odd Girl Out, and it was very sad because I remember when they got made on X Factor, because I saw like the whole thing that they were making fun of her because she was bigger than the other three girls. So it was like an incessant thing that was happening to her. And it's unfortunate that like she couldn't see that like she was being discriminated against and also support her other bandmate,
Robert kept me in check.
Leanne.
That's a wait, and Robert corrected me on that one. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, it's like, she definitely is problematic in her own sense, but that still doesn't afford people the right to go and like take low blows and like make certain shots because it's obviously like that's like a sore subject for her. Like I don't personally like how she handled leaving the group. Like I think they really tried to support her and be there for her. I talk like I'm personal friends with them in my head.
The six
Like,
harmonize.
I am
The harmonator.
I'm the other mixer. We're
You
never
are. You are.
I'm the
On
other
Mixer,
mixer.
on Dotson.
So
you got this.
I know that they put in the work to like to work it out because they really were like
You could
they
feel the
were
sisterhood.
there was a sisterhood. There really was. Like anytime you saw them because they were so young when they came together. Like I just felt like, and she chose to distance herself. Like, and I could tell when she wanted to be dressing a certain way and being in certain things. Like even when that first video came out from the Confetti album, like I knew. When I saw that video, I was like, why isn't Jessie in all of these scenes? Like, why is she
She
not
was
in all?
missing.
Right. I
Vince,
was
you
like,
got to
she's leaving.
see. There's like between Fifth Harmony and Little Mix, there's like all these fun videos where people just like catch the shade between all of them whenever they're in interviews. It's crazy. You could go down a whole rabbit hole of like hour-long videos.
I'm already. You guys have already piqued my interest with this. I'm like, I'm listening. This is great.
Well,
So
Fifth
Ariana
Harmony has
Grande
this
was in this
whole
group. She's not in
lesbian
this group, right?
thing.
No. Ariana Grande
She was
was
too
not.
big for that. Yeah.
No. They opened. Little Mix opened for
Oh,
Ariana Grande
gotcha.
on the Dangerous Woman tour.
Nice. Well, not to gear away from that, and we have to like start shouting each other out so we can get out of here. Shout out to Charlene. I thought of her because Quiet on Set, and I saw Ariana on that, and I felt like I felt really compassionate towards her for that one. They were really. I know they did to everybody, Amanda Bynes, all that. Like they were sexualized.
Yeah.
But I did not realize, like, I felt like Ariana Grande got it the worst. Like, I felt like it was so disgusting.
Those like online clips that they showed that they were not aired on TV, but they were online.
And the orgasm thing when she was like 12.
Yeah, like laying upside down, pouring water, sticking her feet in her
Disgusting.
mouth, and like it was so gross. Like, oh, I feel bad for them.
Even
if they didn't, like, can you imagine in hindsight not having a problem with something and then the switch clicks and you're like, oh my God, like that is so gross and creepy that adults had me doing that as a child.
Well, I watched it before Charlene mentioned it, but she highlighted it on her story quite a few times. So I saw how passionate she was for it. But
shout out to Charlene.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's on the web series as well. And she's actually about to do In Living Color, her sketch comedy, and we're going to be there too. We'll talk about that.
Come through, Keith.
Positive reviews, of course.
Send me the info. I love a good improv night.
You don't have to tell. Yeah, but you don't have to tell Keith. Keith, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Robert. We said we were going to do a short show. Thank you, Robert. We do try to do a short show, but sometimes like guests and sometimes the subjects are so good that like we can't put a cap on it sometimes.
This was as short as it could be. That's good. It's good.
But no, Robert, you're right. We are going to try to make it shorter and even try to edit, but this is going to be hard. It was like almost 2 hours. But again, it was fun. I
had a good time.
It didn't feel like 2 hours.
Oh, these were great conversations. I'm so happy that we all of us got to contribute to them. We all had a good time. Everybody had something to contribute. Keith, you're going to be the first one up. Where can we find you? Where can we find you on social media? How can we follow you? How can we see what you're doing? How can we support you?
Yeah, you can follow me. My main Instagram is at Keith Toast, KEIF Toast, TOAST. That's the old school. That's like across all platforms. Actually, if you want to find me on anything, it's Keith Toast.
Took that handle.
Across all platforms, honey.
I always, even if I don't use it, I go in and I claim my spot because that's gonna be my name if I want to use it. But I also have a MC page, Keith with a mic. So that's also that's
a great endeavor for you. You have a great person.
So just starting that out. So that's where you can find me. We'll also be doing the Mermaid Parade on June 22nd at Coney Island. I think it starts at 1. We'll be with the Tail Shakers at the Tail Shakers. And also we'll be at the Pride Parade.
You heard that, Luz? We out there.
Yes, come on. And then we'll also be at the Pride Parade that following weekend, the next weekend on June 30th. Yeah, I told you we busy, booked and busy.
and blessed.
Oh,
Blessed.
and blessed,
First off.
highly
First off.
favored, highly
Highly
favored. So that's
favored.
where you can find me
God is good all the time.
all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
God
I
is
love
good.
one of my favorite shows. Going to AC. In two hours. Damn. You guys are crazy. Anyway, Robert, where can we find you? Where can we find your lovely face and all the things that you're doing?
Well, you can find me right here on the Keep Up podcast with Mr. Stillvinsane. And you can find me on my YouTube channel. Just look up Robert Mercado World, Instagram, Robert
Boom.
Mercado
Getting a lot of
World.
followers lately.
Okay, across all platforms, pretty much Robert Mercado World or some kind of Robert Mercado World derivative kind of thing. But yeah, you can find me there. And I like to follow back. I'll be following Keith. Everybody follow Keith, okay?
Been there, done
Just
that.
followed you. I literally just followed you.
Don't worry, I'm gonna
I
follow you.
love
As soon as I
friends
get off.
making friends.
That's right.
We can't get deep into that, but I have a friend who doesn't like her friends mingling with her friends. And I was like, wow, that is so selfish. But not to get
Insecure.
too deep into it, but she had some good reasons. But anyway,
And what about
not
you,
reasons
Vince?
that I would go with, but I understood it from her point. I was like, oh, okay, I get that. That's still a little selfish, but whatever.
I
Anyway,
don't
shout
like
out to you,
that.
homegirl. Shout out to you. But again, I enjoy it. I think that's great. I think it's like a great reflection of people when like friends are friends with each other. It's like a good judge of character. Like, damn. But sometimes they'd be like, I've had friends because I'm an asshole. I've had friends like, damn, you have such like good friends. Like, you're such a dick. Like, I remember one time I introduced one of my friends to my family, my sister and my brother, and they were like, what? Like, they're not like you. Like, you're such an asshole. Like, I'd much rather be friends with them. I'm like, well, it's a package deal, motherfucker. I would offer them. But no. It's me and the whole crew. The whole crew. You can't have it all. But anyway, you can find me on Still Insane. You can find me on the web series with Robert Mercado. You might even find me at a show soon. You might with Keith. You might see me with Bill. Shout out to Bill. Bill, Keith helped me answer the call. Bill complained about the show, and he said that I talk about too much rap. And you guys definitely made up for that today. I mean, we had some rap in there, but Bill, we did it. We did it. Not that much rap. The ratio, the gatio helped out the ratio. So we good.
It's your Pride Month, the Pride edition.
Exactly. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to Stonewall. Never forget Bruce Willis. Thank you for this great conversation. I had a great time. Thank you for coming to my birthday, Robert. So again, Still Insane. You just type that anywhere. You can look on Robert Mercado's page again for the web series. We've done a movie together. We're going to do a lot of projects together. So again, check us out. Please. I have my Cash App, whatever. We're independent media, whatever way you want to get that to us. Patreon. We are independent media. So we are trying real hard to make that passion into our projects, into something we're going to live off of one day. So any way you can help with that, we would be very appreciative. Thank you, Luz, Mama Luz. And yes, thank you for sharing. And better listen up, shut the fuck up, and keep up with your boy, Robert Mercado, Still Insane, Keith Thomas Toast. We out of here. Peace. Thank you, guys. Let's put on this outro.
Just a touch of your love is enough.
All right, dudes, ending the stream.
Got to pee so bad, but
Thanks for having